Hello again. So we're going to continue looking at proving some trigonometric identities, and now we're going to get increase the level of difficulty a little bit. So number 11, we're asked to prove this this identity right here, and obviously this side is the more complicated side, so we're going to do that. Start here, and we're going also that since this side is in terms of sine cosine, it's probably best to write this side in terms of sine cosine. So I'll just say that this is equal to, this will be cosine of theta over 1 minus tangent is sine theta over cosine theta, plus sine theta over 1 minus cotangent is cosine theta over sine theta. Alright, so now let's try to clean this up if we can. Let's do the following. Let's multiply, we'd like to clean this up a little bit, and we can do that by, we can multiply this whole expression by cosine as long as we do the same thing up here. So I'm going to multiply and divide everything by cosine. And then similarly, we probably want to do the same thing with this, with sine, right? So we'll multiply and divide this by sine theta. And then when we do that, this becomes, well, we don't want a big bar just yet. This will be cosine squared of theta. And over here we'll have cosine theta minus sine theta. And then this is going to be sine squared theta over, we distribute the sine, we get sine theta minus cosine theta. And this is almost, the denominators are almost the same, because they're not, but they are opposites of each other, right? Because we can take this and multiply it by -1 over -1, and then that makes this negative sine plus cosine, which is this. So this will be cosine theta minus sine theta. And up here we have, we'll still have cosine squared. But now we have minus 1 times sine squared. So we can just write this as minus sine squared. Okay. You think, have a pause for breath, make sure we're okay with this. Now, we could write this do a substitution and write this top all in terms of sine or cosine, but we know this is the difference of two squares, and that means we can factor it nicely. Okay, so this will be cosine of theta plus sine theta. This will be cosine of theta minus sine theta. And then this is cosine theta minus sine theta. And that's nice because this will cancel with this. And so we get cosine theta plus sine theta, which is exactly what we want, or it's the same thing as sine theta plus cosine theta. Okay. So that's what we wanted. So you just focus on this a little more. Okay, great. Let's look at, we need a little more space than I gave you. Let's look at this one. Again, there's no, we'll start with the left-hand side. This is in terms of sine cosine, so let's write this in terms of sine cosine. So then this side is going to be equal to, secant is 1 over cosine. Okay. And we probably can do that. The best thing we can do right now is maybe to write this as, clear this out, multiply and divide by cosine of theta. Because if we do, then we just get a nice 1 in the numerator, and then this will be cosine theta minus 1 in the denominator. Alright, so how do we get from here to here? Well, we can do another little trick. Sine squared is the same thing as 1 minus cosine squared. We don't have that here, but we can get a 1 minus cosine squared by multiplying and dividing by cosine theta what do we want? We want this should be a plus. No wonder I was confused. So let's make this, instead multiply and divide by 1 minus cosine theta. And we do that because, first of all, we want 1 minus cosine theta up here. And then if we do that, we have 1 times this, that's just 1 minus cosine theta. And then this will be 1 plus cosine theta times 1 minus cosine theta, that's 1 squared minus cosine squared theta. Okay, 1 squared of course is 1, and 1 minus cosine squared is sine squared. So this is 1 minus cosine theta over sine squared of theta. Okay. So it looks like that's how we do that. And one more at 13. Secant minus cosine equals sine tangent. Let's do the same thing here. Let's try writing everything in terms of sine and cosine. So secant theta minus cosine theta will be 1 minus cosine theta minus cosine theta. And if we try to get a common denominator, this will be cosine theta minus cosine squared theta. Sorry, try again, Blackbird. Try again. This will be 1 minus cosine theta squared over cosine theta. Okay, so what we did here is we took this and we multiplied this by cosine over cosine. Okay, so this is 1 over cosine minus cosine squared over cosine, and then we bring this down, and then this is going to be 1 minus cosine squared is sine squared. And then we can peel off a sine here. And then this becomes sine theta times tangent theta. Okay, which is what we wanted. Alright. So look at this. We'll have one more video to finish up these notes in the next part.